Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. On today's show, we have the Midwestern farm boy turned lighting designer. That's right. David Warfel's back for a second shot on Get a Grip on Lighting. We are going to beat the shit out of him in a second, but that's okay. Before we do that, should we redo the intro? I don't know. But before we
That's
do
good.
that, you should go to led-llc.com for light efficient design, Gregor. Love those guys.
That's right. The name Light Efficient Design isn't defining what they're talking about here. It's a Breeze EV station. I showed you a
Ooh,
picture today, Mike, and I'm going to put a shout out to him and see if he
yeah.
actually is listening to this one, and then he'll reach out to me. Steve Robinson, Watt Saver, a proud Nailed member, actually installed the Breeze EV. He has it shown on his LinkedIn. He shows it at an apartment complex. What does that mean to you? As a lighting distributor, you can and should actually be selling these things.
Cool.
And Light Efficient Design partners with you. They have a
We'll
flexible
talk about
and
that more.
modular.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not ready. But maybe, listen, not only is Steve Robinson a member, he's a mentor of Nailed.
Absolutely.
This guy
Yes.
knows what's up. If he's selling it, man, he's telling you this is the path. This is the way to go. A guy like Steve Robinson going into that, stepping outside of lighting, everyone needs to follow that, in my opinion. That's a leader
For
in the
sure.
lighting industry, for sure.
Absolutely. Always has been somebody we've both learned from. And
For
when
sure.
I saw that today, I woke up. It was this morning. I emailed you or texted you. I'm like,
Hey,
look at this. That's awesome. We got to
yeah,
do that.
gotta
And
love
that's a
Steve
Breeze
Robinson,
EV.
man.
They're partnering with lighting distributors, making it easy for you to sell it. So get after it. Check it out.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a separate website, but I'm sure you can get the Breeze from led-llc.com. That's right, Light Efficient Design. And of course, the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. Get educated, get associated. Come on down to our convention. That's right, September 13th through 16th in Dallas, Texas. We're hitting ArcLight. We're joining up with ArcLight, but it's going to be a monster fest. If you're into lighting and you're a frontline lighting practitioner, this one's going to be super hot. So come on down. But for right now, hey, Mr. Midwestern Farm Boy, what do you got?
In fact,
Well, I just got back from the farm, but I took a shower, so I'm good.
Good, 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 good.
so I've got a question for you, David, to kind of kick things off and maybe a statement too here. So I remodeled my house a couple of years ago, and I could pick any light fixture in the world that I could do, right? I'm not a lighting designer. I sell light bulbs. And what I should do is, okay, I got ceilings. I should do some recessed can lights. I go to Mike's house in Canada, and what does he have up there? He calls them pot lights, but they're a Canadian term for recessed can lights, right? Everywhere. That's what I've got everywhere. And you look at them, and then I read some of the stuff you do, and what's your problem with recessed cans?
I do. I have a thing against recessed cans.
Okay.
Recently I was thinking maybe I should call them recessed cant lights because there's a difference between a recessed can light and a recessed adjustable downlight. What I'm really trying to do is say, look, those things that really are based on tin cans and let heat escape or let heat come in or let cool air, move through them to the detriment of your energy bills and all that stuff. That's not good. But what's worse for me as a lighting designer is the fact that most recessed downlights light the carpet. And I really don't give 2 cents about the carpet. It's not the most important thing in the house to me or in the space to me. So dedicating all of this power or all of this money or all of this wiring to spilling light on the carpet, it's kind of a waste in many ways. And that's probably the primary reason I hate recessed cans. I used recessed adjustable downlights every day by the hundreds. So I'm trying to make a distinction between the two, a performance fixture and a can, like literally a pot or a can in the ceiling.
So you're talking adjustable, like a gimbal ring or eyeball or whatever it might be on the can?
Yeah, our eyes look out straight ahead, right? We don't put our televisions on the ceiling. We don't put our televisions on the floor. We put them on the wall right in front of us. It's where our computer monitors go. It's where our art goes. It's where our windows go. It's where our wall treatments go. It's where we store stuff on shelves. And for some reason, instead of lighting all of that stuff, we put the light on the floor. It's like our eyes don't actually look at the floor unless we bend our necks. So why are we wasting light in a place that it doesn't even need it? We see plan after plan after plan of 4 cans and a fan, or 6 cans if it's a master bedroom, or 8 cans if it's a big room. And that's the thought that goes into it. And it's like, again, it's just lighting the floor. I want to light what I see. And that's really, I think, the basis of lighting design is light the stuff that's important.
Greg Eric, David Warfel is taking a stand against recessed can lighting or whatever.
Proud of you
I am.
for that, David.
I'll die on this cross. Yeah.
Taking a stand, are you?
Right.
I love it.
Take them down. Yep. In under like 12-foot ceilings, the 6-inch can shouldn't exist anymore. We shouldn't be selling them. Really. Now, are we? Yeah. They're affordable. Do I go out and buy cheap cans when I'm doing my house?
Okay, let's make
I
some
can't tell you.
distinctions. Let's make some distinctions. First of all, nobody buys a 6-inch can in 2022. I haven't seen a 6-inch can sold in years. Greg, you? Only for retrofit, never like in a new home where someone puts
Like
in
a brand
6-inch
new
can.
one?
Never.
Well, my remodel, I did 6-inch cans, so that was about 4 years
I
ago.
love 6-inch can. Listen, I did in my house. I did 6-inch indirect. So the LED is on the bottom of the trim of the fixture. It shines up on a cove and comes out, and it's dim to warm. It's beautiful. But but listen, there's an issue with horizontal and vertical foot candles that has not been addressed. Okay? The number one thing from the fluorescent lighting boom. People say, what are you talking about, fluorescent lighting boom? There was a fluorescent lighting boom from 2000 to about 2015. It didn't end until about 2015, where we were pulling out metal halides and putting up 8-lamp T5s, 4-lamp T8s, whatever. You were putting up high base. And the number one benefit was a reduction in horizontal foot candles and an increase in vertical foot candles. Like that's what it was. Oh, I can see the factory now. Yeah, but your foot candles are reduced by 75% on the horizontal plane. Oh, I don't notice that because I never look down. Nobody
Right.
walks around looking down. That's not happening. That's what task lighting is for. When you have to look down a lot, you want task lighting. From your general lighting, you want vertical foot candles, David Warfel. What do you think?
I think that the older I get, the less I use my light meter and the more I use my eyes. And a light meter on a task plane tells me whether I've got enough light or not, but it doesn't really. My eyes tell me if I've got enough light or not. And so, I've gone to where I'm not actually sure where my light meter is, and I used to carry it everywhere, right? To justify that horizontal foot candle level, like, hey, do I have enough light here? Did I meet the code? Did I meet the recommendations? And I didn't pay enough attention to the vertical foot candles. I didn't pay attention to what people are actually seeing. And like, these are the only light meters that really matter unless you're getting sued. If you're getting sued, the light meter matters. Otherwise, it's whether people walk into the room and they say, this feels right or not. That's how the decision is made. And it can be completely separated from how many lux or foot candles or candles per meter squared or whatever we're using to measure a particular, luminance or illuminance.
So I know there's
So
a
I
lot more
agree
that
with you.
goes into it, but when you look at let's take back to this house example, and let's say you do have a 12-foot ceiling. What are you going to put in there? What do you want to do then? If not a can, an open space, you can put whatever you want. What are you going with?
I'm going to go with the tired old trope of layers of light, which I use as a designer as well. I want to do layers of light. And the very first thing I'm going to do is figure out what's on the walls or what's on the vertical surfaces. I'm going to draw a line that's basically even with the windows all the way around the room. And I'm going to say, how do I light that? So if it is a recessed adjustable, an eyeball, something that's pointing at a piece of art, I'll use that. If there's a nice tile wall with a bunch of, texture like what I've got behind me, then I'm going to graze that with something linear. If it's brick, I'm going to graze that. If it's windows, I'm going to stay away from them unless they have curtains, and then I'm going to graze the curtains at night. I'm going to use picture lights if I can't get a spotlight on it. I'm going to use track lights or monopoints to get onto those walls if it's a sloped roof. I'm basically going to do everything I can to get light into this zone, including hanging pendants in there or putting lamps in there or putting wall sconces on there. It's all about this. And once I get that done, then I'm going to look around the room and I'm going to say, okay, what else needs lit? And probably the floor, which I try to never light, is going to be very well lit, but it's all going to be indirectly lit. It's all going to be the stuff that bounces off the art, bounces off the tile, bounces off the fireplace. That'll light the floor. Putting lights in between a kitchen island and a kitchen countertop makes no sense to me. Put it where it needs to, and the rest will take care of itself.
So if you're not a lighting designer, it does. But I mean, if you're not a lighting designer, what are you saying? We need to hire a lighting designer to get this done, because otherwise you're just going to piece things together. Then power is going to be an issue. You're going to have cords all over the place. What do we do?
I think that's a big problem, and I think lighting designers and the lighting industry are probably the biggest reason why most residential lighting in the houses that are built today is terrible. Like, we're the problem. And we're the problem because we position ourselves as the solution. And all you have to do to get good lighting, next time you're remodeling your house, call me up. I'll give you a $50,000 proposal. I'll come in, I'll lay out all the lighting for you. You just spend $250,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever it is on those light fixtures in the installation, and you can have good lighting, right?
Yeah.
By structuring lighting design in that way, I've said you can't have good lighting. And you can't have good lighting unless you're spending $3 to $5 million on a house and up. So what we have to do is find ways to answer that question without me being engaged. We need to find ways for lighting designers like myself to actually be out of business, right? To not exist, because good lighting is something everybody knows how to do. Good lighting is something everybody appreciates. That's the ultimate goal of what I do, is to hopefully someday be out of business.
Good lighting is something that nobody appreciates. I disagree with you. Good lighting is what people expect. Bad lighting, they don't know what's going on. There's no essence, there's no sense that humans know that it's the bad lighting that's the problem. That's never happened. I've walked into tons of spaces. This place, it feels so oppressive. Yeah, you put your pot lights at 5,000 Kelvin in your basement. That's not good. Nobody wants that. The other thing is, like, the IES. Yeah, I'm talking to you, IES. You're completely obsessed with horizontal foot candles. You need to change your standards, because nobody cares about horizontal foot candles, especially in things like street lighting or in a home. Or the only place where horizontal foot candles matters is when you're doing a high intensity task at the point of looking down at it. That's what, maybe that person looks down 10% of the time, 15% of the time. 99% of the rest of the time, humans walk around looking at vertical foot candles. This needs to change now. We need to look at, outdoor lighting, wherever. We need to start holding. I disagree with you on the foot candle meter. By the way, you should be carrying it everywhere. And you should be holding it up on the vertical at about your eye height and where you want to see it. And you should find out how many foot candles are vertical. Is there too many? Is there too little? What's going on there? And so I'm challenging the IES. Like, you got to change big time this, because the obsession with the horizontal plane is an enormous problem in lighting. Because whatever the horizontal is, if you're trying to get something to a certain level of human comfort, safety, whatever it is, it's the vertical light that matters. It's the vertical foot candles that matter. Not
but
the
that's
horizontal
so
foot
much
candles.
harder to do. It's
Why?
so much harder to do, right? It's real easy to take a 20-foot by 40-foot space, lay out downlights, calc the horizontal, and walk away from it, right? I mean, that's what I did when I started my career 20 years ago in commercial lighting. I spent hours and hours and hours doing, light on the task plane, trying to figure out what that was. And maybe we'd throw a nod towards what was on the wall or whatever as an artistic piece, but it was totally secondary. It's easy to assume a condition of 30 inches above the floor as a task plane and run a calc on that. That's one calc. If I'm going to do what people see, I'm doing at least 4.
Nobody walks around at home looking at the floor. Like, get out of here. The second thing is, like, the varying of light levels is the key to interior design. It's actually the key that unlocks the beauty of interior design. The varying, like, think about under cabinet lights. What do under cabinet lights do for you? They make under the cabinet brighter or seem brighter on the vertical space, not the horizontal. On the vertical, oh, there's something under my cabinet. I need to clean my countertop under my cabinet. Oh, there's my salt and peppers over there. There's my toaster. That's why people do under cabinet lighting, because it creates light on the vertical surface for you. You don't go over to your countertop and go like this and look down. I'm looking, for those listening, I'm looking down on my countertop. No, you're looking possibly maybe 15 degrees down, maximum. Yet, we're obsessed horizontal foot candles, David.
You just answered the question for me of why I hate downlights. I mean, you get back to it. It's because oftentimes in residential design, that is the only move. It's downlights and decoratives.
Same with industrial and commercial.
Decoratives are glare bombs, and the downlights are floor lighters. And there's something completely missing in between. Something sparkly up above and nice bright light on the carpet. And that's the vertical foot candles.
So now your services and your business is doing, how's it doing right now? How's lighting design doing?
We're growing like crazy. I mean, the last
he's a guest on the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, man. He must be famous.
Right.
So what do you attribute growing
Been
like
holding
crazy
on for
to?
dear life.
Why are you guys growing?
Our method to market. So in essence, I want to deliver that middle ground of lighting, that pretty good lighting, that better lighting, but not that best lighting. So I can charge you $50,000 or $100,000 and do a good job doing a lighting design for you. I don't want to do that. I want to charge you $5,000 or $10,000, and I want to give you a pretty awesome lighting design that's 10 times better than what you're going to be able to get without a lighting professional involved. And someday I'd like to get those prices even lower. We can do a several thousand square foot house for several $1,000s. Then we're starting to get into a place where it's affordable, that design is affordable. And that's where I'm going. And on the journey there, I'm attracting people who like that message. So, we're finding good staff, good team members who are like, hey, I want to democratize lighting design, if you will. It sounds kind of heady, but ultimately that's what we're trying to do. We're attracting good people, and we're attracting people, good clients, who otherwise would be like, no, lighting design, that's something for other people. It's not for me. They hear us talk about what's important to them.
If you want to lower the cost of lighting design, you got to teach distributors about lighting design. Because distributors sell 90% of all fixtures into renovation. Okay? So I'm not talking about home renovation specifically. Maybe a little Home Depot action there on the home side, but that's a very small thing. Anytime you're renovating your lighting, you're probably using a distributor at some point in the chain. But here's my concern. How the hell do you know what to do? Or me, or who are we to say? That's where we need the IES to come in. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that the problem you're addressing is a standards issue. That's what it is. It's because people are going to default to that standard that says, well, hey, this is what the Illuminating Engineering Society of North America says. Who are you to say, David Warfel? How dare you? And that's, in society where get your fists up. But I believe that, I agree with you that vertical foot candles, or whatever you want to call it, varying light levels or whatever it is the key to the interior home and the environment. But this is a standards issue, most importantly. Greg, I'm going to take it over to you. How come the IES doesn't want to conquer vertical foot candles? Or have they? Maybe I don't know.
I, I mean, there's so many variables involved with vertical. It seems like there's so many different. Are there more surfaces on the vertical than there are on the horizontal? I don't know. I mean, but it seems like it's just a different way to do it, and I don't have the answer on why they're not doing it. Should they be doing it? Yeah, but it's just with any lighting
Well,
and
you
lighting
don't have
design in
the
general.
answer. It's not your job to have the
No,
answer. It's their job to have the answer.
on what's recommended.
I think you gotta find a completely different way to do standards. If you're gonna attack this through a standards, from a standards approach, I think you have to find a completely different way to do standards. I mean, if you think about the horizontal foot candle levels, like we're looking at what light is striking the object. And anytime we go vertical, it doesn't matter what light is striking the object anymore. We're not trying to read a piece of paper on the wall. We're trying to feel whatever that effect is of that wall. And it's like it's got to bounce off of that. It's what's bouncing off of it that actually is important to us. In that case, we got to know the reflectances of the material. We got to know the colors of the material. Like, it complicates things.
No, you get
And
out
if
of
we
that.
complicate
You
things,
hold the light
yeah.
meter up before it strikes the surface. Simple. Just like you hold the light meter above the horizontal surface.
But that doesn't tell me anything. It only tells me what light is hitting the black wall behind me. It doesn't tell me what's coming into my eyes.
But you need some sort of measurement. And here's the thing: I agree with David wholeheartedly. I think what he's hitting on is what is his intuition, which is what it is as a lighting designer. Like, lighting design is an art and a science. His art side, the intuition side, is saying this vertical is more important. And the the reason why it is more important is because humans walk around looking at vertical surfaces all day. But you said that, we need the reflectances of the wall, David. No, you don't need the reflectances of the wall. You need to hold the light meter up to the wall. The same way you hold it up to the horizontal surface. And you say, well, no, I don't. I want it to be experiential. That's the art. The science is the standard. And that's what we need the IES to come up with, is that vertical surfaces standard. And all of the health effects stuff that's coming out now is you need vertical light. Okay, everything from circadian and human-centric, Greg, is coming out saying, we want to put 5,000 lux in the vertical surface, like this kind of madness, because it imitates the sun. Okay, well, no, don't do that. But how about 300 or 400? Not 5,000. Or how about 300 varying between different areas so that you have a theme or a vibe or a mood? So I think what you're doing is you're confusing art and science, David.
I think we agree, actually.
I do.
on
agree.
The need for vertical foot candles to be an organizing principle in lighting. And
Bingo.
To be perhaps
Yes.
the organizing
Yes.
principle in lighting.
100%.
I think how we get there, you and I see things a little bit differently. I think that standards are going to be it's almost like we need to figure out a different way to do standards to get that important. Now, I think in commercial spaces, it's great. I can't go hold a light meter to something that hasn't been built yet. I can do it in a calc and I can understand what's hitting it. But again, like materiality, it's the art form. If I'm
but
trying
I know
to get,
what's going to happen.
It's not like,
listen,
like
David,
with health,
I've done so many lighting systems. I look at a space, I go, here's what you need to do, bud. This is what's going to work. Greg, are you the same way? You don't. When's the last time, Greg, you needed like a layout with foot candles on it to sell a lighting job? Come on, man. 10 years ago? 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
I don't need any layouts. Like, I know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And that's what you're talking about, David. From your perspective, from your practice, you know what's going to work. And you want to spread that message to everybody. But it cannot be spread. What I'm saying is it cannot be spread until the IES steps up, creates a technical memorandum saying, this is the vertical foot candles for commercial, industrial, homes, living rooms, whatever. Can't be done.
I think if we separate residential and commercial, I'll agree with you. I think in commercial, I think you're absolutely right. I think we have to have standards and we have to have numbers that we can calculate, because otherwise it's just an emotional game. And that's, lighting is lighting is an emotional tool, but it's so much more than that. It's a biological, it's a biological factor. We need to know more of that. We have to know the science. And I think in the commercial sector, that's true. In the residential sector, I think if we build standards, for example, on vertical foot candles, then we're going to need to up the game of lighting professionals involved in the process, which I'm all for. But when you're a production builder doing 1,000 homes a year, you know,
Ordering your lights directly
choice,
from China and
yeah, I mean
smashing
the
them
lighting
in.
choice is bronze or satin nickel. Like what? That's it. That's the
Or
whole
now it's black
amount
and
of
gold
design.
or whatever.
Right.
Here's Greg. I know you said you wanted to take a cue.
Okay.
I'm just going to say something right now that I think the world needs to hear. Okay, you go to a high-end home that's being renovated, like they're gutting it or they're doing something big to it. People will spend $400 on a doorknob. They'll spend $400 on some premium doorknob that's super heavy and whatever instead of the 20 or 30 or $40 one at Home Depot or Lowe's. But they want to spend $10 on a flat panel, 4-inch flat panel. Like, wake the hell up. Like, what are you talking about? It's going to blink when you dim. It's not going to be compatible with your dimmer. The stupid lighting control system that X company put in is like crazy and never works, so you just override it. This is people don't take lighting seriously, and it's a huge problem. Huge problem. You need to spend $100 a pot light if you want a decent, or a can light, a recessed can. You need to spend $100. You can't get, like Greg, you can't get a proper warm dim, indirect, beautiful light. Beautiful, warm dim. Not 3000K, 2700K to 1800K. Beautiful cove above it. Boom, done. It's unbelievable. And then maybe you can throw some directional pot lights on your artwork. Like, nobody's thinking about. I see these homes go up and you need a lighting designer, bud. What are you thinking here? Oh, can you do it? No, I'm busy. I'm doing podcasts. But like Greg, we have a serious problem with that. People want to spend $400 on a doorknob and hinges, like, $175 per hinge, but they won't buy a $100 recessed can. What's up with that, Greg? We'll go back to David in a second, but
yeah. Well, we look at we're all commercial. Everything Mike and I do is commercial grade or commercial industrial properties, and it's the same there, though. I mean, not everybody's that way, but there are customers that way, and it baffles me that they make decisions based on the lowest price that doesn't give them the light they want, but they don't really think ahead.
I'm going to give everybody a lesson here, David. Okay? I just sold a home in a town in Canada for the highest per square foot in the history of the town in a market where interest rates are going up and the real estate market is crashing. Okay? Highest ever. You know what sold it? The fenestration, the sun tunnels, the skylights, and the warm dim lighting with the beautiful coves. People went crazy over that. And the lighting controls. You walk in the room, the lights come on. You walk into the next room, the lights come on. You leave that room, you go out. Next time you loop back, the lights are off. You walk in the room, the lights are on. Well-commissioned lighting controls with warm dimming and beautiful fenestration controlled by photo controls. This is so wonderful. The entire top floor of that house does not need to be lit during the day with our electric light. It's totally 100% natural light with sun tunnels and skylights and windows. And people are they don't think about light at all as the central component of interior design, David. And I'm pissed about it, actually.
Me too. I'm tired of being relegated to the same sort of budget or thought process of natural gas. It's like we got to have it in the house. Somebody pipe it in and deliver it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spend any more than I have to on it, but I know I need it. And that's sort of what lighting is. I don't want to spend any more than I have to on it, but I know I need it. Most people have never really experienced good lighting and been aware of it.
I disagree with that. They've experienced good lighting in the age of incandescent and halogen. No, because in the age of incandescent, they had warm dim. They had IR from the lights, infrared light coming out of it. They had the ability to warm it like the sun warms. It was mimicking the sun. And they could dim it and it was beautiful, 0 to 100. It would go from it and it would warm down beautifully in their room and wherever their dining room and they wanted to have guests over. Now they go to dim their lights, it's blinking. Oh yeah, you don't really dim that. It's kind of like light levels. And it kind of stops at 40%. Why? Because you spent $10 per light fixture. That's why. That's why.
Those are important characteristics, but I can do a really bad lighting design with incandescent, and I can do a really good lighting design with compact fluorescent. Some of it is about how you use the tools, right?
Yeah,
So,
I totally
like,
agree.
I'm a huge fan of warm dim, and I'm a huge fan of the warm dim that's actually a logarithmic curve and not, I don't want 2200 at 50%, right? Like it's too orange at that level. Like I'm a big fan of warm dim. We do it all the time. I'm a big fan of quality fixtures. Our bottom price for a recessed light, I mean, I feel like when you go under 250, you're starting to sacrifice something.
Well, you're
Under
overcharging, sucker.
200.
You need to buy from Atlas Lighting.
I don't
here in
sell them.
Toronto,
I don't
Premier
sell
Lighting.
them.
I can get you some seriously good light fixtures that will. But I have friends email me, and we don't do a lot of residential, but I did my own home, with lighting controls, and it was so seductive. It was ridiculous. People loved it. They went crazy for it. Oh my God! Like this place is lit so beautifully, and I would say that what they were given back as a gift was how lights used to work, where they could dim properly, and where they could where it would warm down and it was nice, smooth, even dimming. And then they had the gift of lighting controls, which worked, and they didn't have it on their phone, but it just you go in the space, the lights come on. I think there's so much of that that can be incorporated into interior design that people are kind of running away from, David. Why? Why are we running away from this?
Why are we running away from good lighting?
Yes, it's like we're running away from it.
See, there's where I think maybe we're the problem, right? And by we, I mean the lighting industry. Like, we have more tools, we have more science and technology, we have more methods, we have more controls, we have more fixtures, we have more ways to do things than we have ever had in lighting. We can do incredible things that we couldn't do in lighting. And part of our problem is that we've made this an esoteric science or art. It's either a high art form, in which case I got to put my scarf on and act like a jerk, or it's a super heady technology thing that the people who are building $10 million houses are like, I don't really want anything that's complicated. They just see it as complicated, even if they never have to touch a light switch. They see it as a complication, right? So it's like we've complicated it, or we've artsied it up instead of making it something that people can actually understand enough to consume. They don't understand it, so they'd rather just not do it. And we're not making it easier for people to understand lighting.
I think the lighting industry is taking that position. Like the position that you just described is the formal position of the lighting industry. We don't understand it, so we're just going to stay the way we were from before because we can't get this figured out properly, or we're in upgrade fatigue. Like there's an element of this that's like constantly changing products like how often does a new product come out that's the same product as it was last time, lower watts, higher this, whatever, and there's like a fatigue there. And the basics are this: we need warm dimming for the homes, for residential. You need that nice clean 0 to 100 dimming from 2700K or whatever, maybe even 3000. I don't like it personally, but 2700K down to a nice warm color, whatever the warm dim was from incandescence, you need to match that. That's what we need. And then I don't know, we need this lighting industry to step up and say, look, this is what we like. This is what people expect. This is what was created before, and this 5,000K in the basement that has 3 light levels is disgusting. It's gross. And I don't know how to get out of it. I mean, it's very frustrating for me as the host of the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. I see this stuff all the time. I'm ranting. I'm a little bit tired today, maybe, Greg. What do you think, Greg, Eric?
This is the Michael Culligan show today, is what I think.
Oh man, I'm hot.
I do want to ask, though, David. You brought up at the beginning. What are you doing to put yourself out of business, and I guess why?
When I rebranded the business and repositioned for 4 or 5 years ago, started shifting what I did as a lighting designer. The goal was to make great lighting available to my next door neighbors and my friends and family. And I don't come from I'm a Midwestern farm kid, right? I don't come from a community where everybody's building $5 million houses. So to make lighting design accessible to my neighbors, I had to figure out a way to simplify it. And I'm trying everything. I don't know that I have the answers. I don't know that I have the miracle cure yet, but I try everything. I blog, for example. I give away all my secrets. If you want to learn what I do, just spend a few hours reading the blog and you can replace me. Like, okay, maybe that's an oversimplification, but I'm about getting the ideas out. And the other thing I'm really trying to do is boil lighting design, good lighting, down to its most essential elements. What is the one thing, if you're building a new house, you should do in the great room to improve your lighting? What is the one thing, if you're renovating a kitchen, you should do to improve the lighting? What is the one thing, if you have a bedroom and you're renting a house and you can't do any wiring, what is the one thing you can do to improve the lighting in your house? And that's sort of a passion of mine, to try and figure out what those are so that you can just share it with people and say, here's 5 things you can do in your house to improve the lighting today. And it's not going to be horribly expensive, and it's not going to require major renovation and all of that stuff. What is that? If we can get it down to something that is consumable in terms of information, then other people can do it and I don't have to anymore.
It sounds like
if other people can do it.
So your strategies of putting yourself out of business are actually giving you the opposite effect of having your business grow. Is that what we all need to be doing?
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's true, right? People read the stuff and then they want to come, oh, I read your blog, or, oh, I saw your article in Fine Homebuilding, or whatever, and then they want to come, then they want to get designs. And the crazy thing is, like, if I could figure out how to make a pamphlet that was 3 pages long that had everything you need to know about lighting in it, which would be a bit of a challenge, right? If I could figure that out and give it to people, there would still be people who don't want to read that 3-page packet and would rather have someone else take care of it. So I'm never going to go out of business, but I'll work on it. Right? It's a goal.
That's 90% of, or 99% of people that won't read that pamphlet. Like, most people don't read anything. They don't even read their mortgage. They don't read their offer for purchase and sale on their house. They just click DocuSign. Like, I'm not kidding you, man. Yep. There's a, but I like your mission, David. I think you need to hone it a little bit. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I think you need to hone it. I think there needs to be some specific goals. You're on like some crazy mission to share your anecdotal knowledge that you're learning from the field, which is related to beauty. And the lighting industry creates beauty. That's what we can create. And we've been so focused on energy efficiency, so focused on those things. We need to bring back the creation of beautiful spaces using light, using electric light. We need that back. Forget about it. Using fenestration, using skylights, using sun tunnels to bring light to places where it belongs and it works the right way. Like, that's your mission, man. And I'd love to talk to you again, because I think you're honing those missions. I love what you're doing, because you're asking questions or making statements or putting a flag in the ground, whatever the heck it is, that the metaphor that describes it. But I love it, because we need to have people in the industry that are saying these things and saying, let's get here. Let's give the gift of good lighting to everybody. And that's circadian, it's beauty, it's nice spaces. Because circadian, whatever, human-centric lighting is also the ability to exist in beautiful spaces. That's part of human-centric lighting. So I thank you for your mission, and I want you to continue to stay on it, man. I want you to update me when you come up with anything new. And Greg Eric here, and a pack of distributors, light bulb salesmen that don't think that much about that every day. We're boom, boom, boom. Greg, you tell me, man. You're not thinking about that. You're selling wall packs or whatever it is, right?
Right. Keep them going. Got to make
Yeah.
money.
I really love your mission, David, and I thank you for joining the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast today. Whew, Greg, we did it. We did another show.
We did. Any final thoughts, David?
When you say, what is that mission? I believe that light is the first gift of the universe and that it is a universal human right. And that drives a desire to share what I call the gift of light with everybody. And ultimately, it boils down to some pretty sort of pithy remarks of, I believe light can help everybody live a better life. And we're here to help them with light. That's our mission. And if we can embrace that and move that forward, then everybody wins. And by the way, I make more money than I've ever made before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm giving it more away than I've ever given away. So everybody wins.
Well, since David Warfel is making more money than he's ever made, we're going to send him an invoice after the podcast. But the chief evangelist of light, the Midwestern farm boy turned lighting designer, he's on the show today. But you know what? I want to tell you a little bit about, before we go, about a company that I've really come to admire, and I love the people there. It's Light Efficient Design, Greg Eric. How much? And we're back to Breeze EV, but they started in lighting, but like, you gotta love Breeze EV. This is their, this is how ingenuitive they're. The first on the green, closest to the hole. What do you got?
Yeah, they are with all their products. When the LEDs started, Light Efficient Design was one of the first reputable ones that came out
Sure,
with
absolutely.
the right product. And then now they've getting solar lighting. They've gone into solar. They've got actual lighting that works on solar. That's legit. Not some of this crap you can find other places, but a legit solar lighting they have. And now EV charging that they partner with distribution on.
Yeah, their
Breeze
Solera
EV.
products are amazing too. But EV Breeze is certainly hot, and we got Steve Robinson out there, the mentor. Nailed. Steve, we're gonna grill you on stage at the NIL convention, and we're gonna find out how you did it September 13th through 16th. That's right, at the Dallas Market Center in Dallas, Texas. That's right. Be there, be square. And what else we got, Greg? Anything I'm missing here before we cut it out?
I think that did it, man.
All right. So I'd like to say thanks to David K. Warfel, the Midwestern farm boy turned lighting designer, the chief evangelist of light. Hey, amen, brother. That's what I say to David. Amen. Keep on your mission. Folks, if you made it to the end with us here, hey, we love you guys. Bye for now.